Despite Manchester City grabbing Champions League football, legends are fading. A dynasty is being cracked. That's right, Pep Guardiola has gone a full season without a trophy, and City are off the top spot because of Arne Slot and his tactics. Brushed aside in the Premier League, beaten well in the Champions League, means only one thing: Manchester City need a new manager. That's where I come in, as yes, Pep Guardiola's done a Jurgen Klopp, leaving me to take this team to glory, leading it to trophies and hopefully trebles again. As yes, people, you might have seen me steal his style. Pep Guardiola's jumper is now firmly fit around my shoulders. Not literally his, by the way. I probably can buy my own clothes, but I would like Pep Guardiola's paycheck, as this is the team that we start with. No Erling Haaland up front, don't worry, I can see him already on the bench, and he's got to go straight into the first team. But like I said, I want to implement a style. Manchester City have become robots under Guardiola, because that's his style of play. But before we get into doing that, as you can see, I'm back in the box on screen, with challengers below me, because Manchester City will be a really easy rebuild if we don't include some challengers, as the big shock about Manchester City going into next season is the loss of Kevin De Bruyne. Heavy links with Napoli, and that's where he is in this career mode, as the first objective is to replace him, but also replace Kyle Walker, the right back who's been a very good servant to Manchester City, won loads of titles. He is now 35, 79 rated. He cannot stay. And there's plenty of other right backs like Rico Lewis, Couto, and Nunez, but I want to put my own stamp on things, and most of them are kind of midfielders. Look at Mateus Nunez's stats. That's not a right back, that's a centre mid. Jan Couto's essentially the same, and also the same is Rico Lewis. I want to put my own stamp on things, so I'm going to go for this formation, the 4-3-3, attack, we get wingers, we get a cam back in the squad, and we're going to go aggressive, but kind of keep the short passing, Guardiola's philosophy with his players. However, the biggest change that I'm making is the fullbacks. They're staying back whilst attack. And this is the team I intend on starting. Foden back in the starting 11. I want to revive his career here because at City, he's not had a good season. This man was the player of the year most years, and he could replace De Bruyne in the future. And there's also a shout for James McAtee, but I don't think his rating does him justice. Also, slim rumours on him leaving and rumours on this man going. Jack Grealish, they're very strong. He's not been included in the FA Cup team. Or sorry, wasn't played in the team. They actually subbed on Claudio Echeverri for his debut. And Omar Mamouche, I want to be a left winger. That will be his position, but before we actually spend any of the money, I haven't actually checked the budget. I'm going to get rid of the players I'm not going to be using, including Jack Grealish to Tottenham because it's 26 million added to whatever we have. Unlike Pep Guardiola, I feel Echeverri is not ready just yet. And then I've took it into my own hands, selling a rather young midfielder, which is a gamble because obviously we don't have a young midfield. Maximo Perrone, he's allowed to go to Bournemouth, leaving us a 34-year-old, 31 and 30-year-old central trio. However, how am I forgetting the Ballon d'Or winner? How have I not put him in my starting squad? Rodri's back from injury, and I am going to change him to a central midfielder, as this season taking a risk. I'm going to try and start Kusanov. The game will probably kick him out, and I'm going to go for a right back before a cam, as there is two strong links to Manchester City in this right back position. Nicolo Savona, and then this man, Tino Livramento. Now, I know Newcastle got into the Champions League, but I think I've got to take my chance on him. This one was the easy choice, but still, it's cost us a lot of money. Etihad squeezing out almost 40 million for Tino, leaving us 41 million, and that's not enough for a KDB replacement. So I'm going to have to say goodbye to a few more players. I'm not particularly a fan of Mateus Nunez. I'm going to loan out Oscar Bob because he's not going to play under my management. And then I'm going to sell James McAtee, and that 4 million goes a long way, giving us just enough for our target. And I know Pep wants to make him into a robot, but I'm going to give him the freedom. Ryan Cherky, the dribbler from Lyonnais, who, as you can see, I have changed to a cam in this squad. He's low rated. Phil Foden's moved to the right, already 90 rated. And yes, this team is absolutely class. Kusanov has not been played. Even Ederson's gone up in goal at 32. And by the way, we've only got 4 objectives. We've completed the first one straight away. You might be saying, Max,
this is easy. This challenge is going to be done in no time.
But no, it is not. This is a lot more difficult than you think, because the next thing is not to win a trophy, it's to win a special golden boot, as Mohamed Salah this season joined a record that only 3 players now have, and that is to have 47 goal involvements in the Premier League. That's goals and assists. And our second objective, that's right, second, not even the final one, is to have a player break that. So we need 47 goals and assists in the Premier League, which could damn near be impossible, but we've got Haaland, Foden, and Omar Mamouche, with Turkey joining in now. But as you can see, our top contributor isn't actually Erling Haaland, it's actually Phil Foden, and he's got 30 goal involvements in the Premier League. That's not 47. This challenge could be impossible to break, so in the meantime, we need to be winning things like the Premier League, 89 points, finally back on top under my management. Out of the way, Pep, because MWS ball is so much better, and it's probably more entertaining, as then Tottenham win the FA Cup, and we do win the Carabao Cup, so it's a double in season 1. Very good going from us, and of course we are now back in the Champions League. Ooh, but only just squeezing through. A terrible finish, 9th, meaning a playoff game, and I don't believe it. Look who have beaten us. Fenerbahce, meaning Jose Mourinho has gone ahead and beat Man City. Meaning we might have to rethink this squad. That's a trophy that should have been a given. And the objectives after the really hard one we currently have and haven't completed are only going to get worse. This challenge is going to be difficult. So strap yourselves in. Do you think we can do it? Well, we're going to have to do. And the way you guys can help that happening is subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. 48 goal involvements. How are we going to get that out of a player? We've got 290 rated in the attack, 152 million pounds. And not only that, we're going to have to replace some of our aging players soon. Ederson in the goal, Ruben Diaz, Bernardo Silva. They're all first team players. We're going to have contracts to sign and everything. So we've got attackers coming back to the club. Oscar Bob, I don't think he'll break any records. Savinho as a backup. Then we've got Marmouche and Doku. Echeverry, 77. One more loan and he could be the real deal. However, Haaland, I haven't actually noticed. Only 2 backup strikers in Will Dixon and Mubama. Not very good. A backup striker on the bench is very needed as Rico, Luis Gonzalez and Couto. You can see I changed them all to centre mids to maybe challenge this man, because again, our best player's now turning over 30. Rodri as a centre mid, now 93. We've got to use him whilst we can. And we need to bring in the perfect backup striker to maybe stand a chance of getting loads and goals and assists. So I'm going to sell a lot of players out of contract. And some in them, like Calvin Phillips, need to get our cash up quick. However, all our backup players just aren't selling for much. Just about 5 million. Finally, though, some money makers. John Stones and Mateo Kovacic. Yes, Kovacic is going out to Bournemouth on a permanent deal. It was 32-year-old, though, and that's £226 million. And we need someone of Salah's level, someone who gets loads of goals and assists. Now, Marmouche, before he joined City, got a lot with Frankfurt, now 88 rated. We've got our wingers covered, though. We need a forward man and pronto. And I tell you what, it might be a bit old, but Artem Dovbyk at AS Roma, grown to an 88 rating, and this man to back up Erling Haaland. As have you ever in your life whilst playing career mode seen this? We've got an 88 rated striker on a sporadic role, yet over 100 million cost. And he's sat on the bench. That is only a Manchester City thing, as this first team, apart from defense, looks brilliant. And Ryan Cherky, he was only an 86, and Echeverry is only 78. I stupidly decided to keep him round. And another thing I've just noticed, only one goalkeeper, so Edison's actually gone up in his rating despite being 33 and despite me thinking we needed a new one. He's been extremely busy, as look at that. I'm actually not looking at the league win though, I'm looking at the goals for, 91. We need someone to have got over 47 goal contributions here, so someone who's contributed over half to the season, as we do win the Community Shield there. We win the FA Cup over Newcastle after stealing their starting right back, and we lose in the Carabao Cup finale, but still an abundance of trophies, which isn't our initial aim, but add them all to the cabinet. As we still struggle in the Champions League though, losing to Real Madrid, coached by Xabi, and look at that, you can see Phil Foden is our top scorer with 31. Now, I'm not going to check the assists, he actually got more than Haaland, but I'm going to check through this menu. If I go onto that, 23 assists is a lot for one player. 19 game in the Premier League plus 31 goals altogether. We've done it. Or should I say, Phil Foden's done it. The man who's had an off-season at Manchester City back to his potential best with 50 goal contributions in a Premier League dominant season. Phenomenal from Phil Foden is now 3rd season deep, winning trophies, and I'm releasing some players. After seeing the wage of Dovbeek, I know we have to have a thinner squad here. And plus we do have some aging players maybe need replacing. You can see the 30 years of age players are all over this team. But 2 seasons, 2 challenges completed because that is Phil Foden getting the goals and assists one. Breaking the record, as this technically wouldn't be a record, but I want a treble from Manchester City in this season before the big one. Or not even in this season, but with the team we have. Come on, let's be honest. We should be doing it, but 2 objections, Community Shield and Super Cup do not count. Major honours only, and I did think we'd get a bigger budget than that. We've got 124 million after releasing players, freeing up wages, plus players out their deal again, and good ones like Jeremy Doku, Echeverry. Well, he might be one of the first players I actually replace. Oh, sorry, no, Bernardo Silva. Now he's 32. He's 89 rated. I might go back on my word again because Edison, he's 33. Akanji, 31. But I do think we have some spare defenders. In these guys, Bar, Reis, and Kusanov. A player that had a horrific start at Manchester City. A player I want to see flourish here. So he's now onto the bench. He's got 86 pace for a central defender. As yes, goalkeeper's got to be priority because we only have a couple of seasons left of Edison. Plus, he's the only goddamn one at the club. And that is why I'm keeping up a tradition. Another Spanish player. Now, Guardiola isn't here, but Joan Garcia is. This is a long-term investment because he's 26 and goalkeepers can go on a long time, plus he's only on an important role. Accepting Edison is a crucial one, and I did want to go back to Real Madrid for Marquinhos, but as you can see, Borussia Dortmund eyeing up a move for him. And that's a shame because before I can sign him, I have to make money selling Ake and also Manuel Akanji, the 2 old boys going out to Prem clubs. And we have missed out on Marquinhos, meaning we have to find another option for the centre of our defence, and Diamande wasn't my first choice. You see, I didn't actually want to go with him, despite being younger, despite being only 24, he's 85 rated, beautiful physical, and pace. I just knew we had his own defenders like Bar I wanted to grow because he had so much potential. Victor Reis is the same, but his race has run for a starting spot now. As goal scoring wise, well, I didn't expect that one. Haaland, 61. He has carried this team astronomically. And 49 goal contributions in the Premier League means he was one behind Foden's record of last season, which I thought would be a difficult one to beat. And surely he is one of the world's best players. Just look at the team of the season. That is majority our squad. So many Manchester City players there. And there is our first trophy of the treble we are hoping for. I mean, 81 goals scored. He's less than last season as well. He must have carried with those goals, as we unfortunately lose this Community Shield. The FA Cup lost as well. Okay, Liverpool. They beat us on penalties in the semis. The Carabao Cup also won, meaning it all goes down to the Champions League if we complete this 3rd of 4 objectives in Season 3, as the league phase is good to go off. And I am right in thinking that 4-3 against Madrid, that has to be the most exciting finale ever. Maybe Istanbul goes close, but Manchester City's only Champions League win was just a 1-0. Rodri with the goal, the Ballon d'Or winner, as this is the next challenge. We have to win a treble now with a Ballon d'Or winner at the same time. But here's where it comes in because I didn't mention this. Now, we have to have a Ballon d'Or winner alongside 3 trophies. However, the Ballon d'Or winner cannot be this man Rodri. As I've previously said, he's already done it in real life with City, and he actually had a really good season with us last time out, but still, I'm going to put him on the transfer list, and plus midfielders don't win it anyway. We may still need a midfielder because Bernardo Silva's getting old, but then we have Gonzalez, Couto, and Rico Luis the youngster. So for a Ballon d'Or winner, I think we've got to focus on the attacking trio. And at the moment, that's Haaland, Foden, and Omar Marmoush. There's Doku, there's Savinho, there's Oscar Bob that's never going to win it. And then in our cam positions, Cherki, but also Echeverri. I've been incredibly disappointed with this man. That's why you can see him in our reserves. And our reserves are very limited as is. The bench is just missing that cam. And potentially, Cherki could be in the place where Doku is right now. However, 131 million? I actually want more than that. As I was about to say, out goes Rodri, but we just can't get a bid for him. A bid in for Bernardo Silva, who I might sell, and we can keep Rodri. We've just got to make sure he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, and if he does, it doesn't count for us. So goodbye to Bernardo Silva. He was 1 year older than Rodri anyway. And out goes Echeverri because he's desperately in need of a loan deal. Leicester City, the team to take him, and I think they're in the Championship. But before we get on to making that stellar signing needed, I have maxed out the attacking coaches. Yes, we're scoring plenty of goals, but we need a Ballon d'Or winner, and I just want to make sure with 190 mil now, with that money going into a cam who can also play up front, Owain Sunset, 110 million, but if we could try and win a Ballon d'Or, as we really do need a Ballon d'Or win this season to already keep the dreams alive, and that is a player getting it in Erling Haaland, who, funnily enough, has not had an increase in his rating since winning the Ballon d'Or, and that just leaves the trophies. But with this team, honestly, is there any trophies in doubt? I mean, Ruben Diaz is just getting older, but he's now 91 rated. The only player going down is Ederson. And then on the bench, we have just someone to replace him in Garcia. We've got an 89 rated backup striker in Artem Dovbyk. I feel really bad for our reserves, but I don't feel bad for the other teams in the Premier League because Haaland and Marmoush scoring almost 40 each. So a team of the season card, probably with a Ballon d'Or winning one. For Erling Haaland, as you can see, he's top scorer, and you can tell by the background. I think we will be in a UCL final, but we still need other trophies to compete. As there's the assist as well, Rayan Cherki, joint with Jota. The Premier League team of the season looks like that, a full Manchester City defence. However, Mika Taudze at Fulham actually goes and wins the player of the season. And fair plays to him because he has took them into the Champions League, and that's a league win. If we could just match that with a Champions League trophy, which I think we are in the finale of, but we did lose the Community Shield. However, penalties over Luton Town. Luton are always in the FA Cup finale. It's madness, but that is 2, or make that 3 out of 4, because we beat, or should I say slap, Manchester United round the face with a Carabao win, and put all them trophies in the cabinet. But don't forget this one here, Olympiacos beaten. Fair play to them for winning the Europa. That is 4 trophies out of 5, but could we make it 5 out of 6 with a Champions League win, which we knew we were already in the final of? Can this Premier League City go ahead and beat Paris Saint-Germain in the final in real life with all the hype? Kvicha, João Neves, Vitinha the Maestro, he's here. And this is a battle of the Titans, a proper UCL finale, which we're honestly playing for pride because we've already completed all our objectives, and Rayan Cherki played these before in League One. Erling Haaland scores plenty of goals. It goes from outside of the box. Hopefully, though, that's a sign of starting how we mean to go on, as Vardiol in to Yankuto. Let's test this guy's shooting. He used to be a defender, and that looked pretty accurate. We are starting on the right foot. He's getting all of the ball as well. So that's a ball into Rayan Cherki. And oh, this man's dribbling's fantastic, and he was just about to pull the trigger. Gotta get this goal, though, because if not, we're going into extra time, and Haaland is getting shrugged off the ball all the time by Lacroix, which actually is a very good signing. Played really well for Crystal Palace. Now in the French capital as Hakimi with his 14 assists in real life against Guardiola. That's onto the edge of the box into Vitinha. Ooh, but that wasn't nice on Haaland. That could be a red card. João Neves is going to be lucky here if he stays on the field, but bye. Terrible challenge from the Portuguese, player that I was really tempted to sign when we got rid of Bernardo Silva. Now we've got to get a goal really quickly, make sure they're left upset, and Phil Foden around the defenders. That is one of the luckiest bouncers you'll ever see, as Phil Foden is the man to put the citizens in front. I've done something Guardiola couldn't do, and I have revived this man, our number 47, with a touch of class and luck. And look at that, he's straight winning the ball back as well. He wants another goal now. They're down to 10 men. He knows the floodgates are kind of open. Come on, ref, a free kick. Stupid. Do they want them into the game now? Vitinha. A huge gap for Lewis Miley. Come on, get across, make a tackle. Joan Garcia shouldn't be saving that. Saving our bacon, and oh dearie dear, Ruben Diaz! A match-winning block, because as soon as they take the throw-in, we hoof it up the field, and we get the final whistle we needed. Manchester City win 5 out of the possible 6 trophies. And let's be honest, we don't want to just see one trophy lifted when there is a quadruple bus winning title charge through the city. For City, and this has been amazing. Now, I promise a longer save next time. I know these saves have been quite short, but the teams that have needed rebuilds, leave your comments down below as well who I should do next. And if you just want another video straight away, YouTube recommends these two.